This is 100% business, a game that can change your life. How could you live a life where you're quitting on yourself? You don't believe in you? Who's supposed to believe in you? What a sad existence. If you're sitting here watching these videos and you just entertain, okay. What have you done? Nothing. I'll keep entertaining you. We're not over here making videos to change our life. I got news for you guys. We're doing okay.
Blessed today, bro.
Every day above ground is a blessing, brother.
That's a fact.
How you feeling?
Feeling great, man.
Yeah?
Feel real good.
Good.
Been eating good, trying to work out as much as I can.
Good.
You know, trying to clean the temple, man, as much as possible.
Absolutely. You look great.
Thank you, bro.
You're
Too.
You're above ground. You know, we're doing our thing.
Yeah.
We're happy.
That's it.
We're getting money.
That's it.
God is good.
That's it. We're breathing, man. We're good.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the white, man. You did a switch up.
Today's Habibi clean.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, all white, like you're ascending.
Ooh.
You know? And it's a very, very popular Middle Eastern tobe.
Mm-hmm.
They call it a tobe. So I figured I'd put that on for the show.
Now, is tobe the whole thing, the headpiece and the body?
The tobe is really this part.
Okay.
Like the dress part of it.
Yeah.
And then this is a headdress.
Gotcha.
It's a different.
Was it shipped overseas or was it made here?
I think it was made overseas.
Yeah.
And then they shipped it over. I bought it from a shop in Philly.
Nice.
We'll go over there and check them out.
For sure.
A very, very interesting shop.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Guys, we back, man. We're live right now, episode 7.
Yeah.
Talking about something very dear to my heart. We're talking about wholesaling real estate.
Yeah.
Assignment of contract, man. It's a big deal. This is the building blocks, man. If you want to become a real estate investor, you might not have the capital, but if you might have the time on your hands, you know, it's going to require a lot of your time and undivided attention for sure to make something of it. It's a grind, but it's worth it for sure.
Speak on what is the importance of understanding wholesale, like as a new investor. Why should a new investor be concerned about learning how to hold? Like, why is this important to somebody?
It's a great question, man. I mean, even for myself, when I was brand new, wholesaling real estate is a great way to build capital and the know-how of transacting on real estate. So you're building your knowledge base and you're making money in the process. Whereas, like, if you go to college, you got to spend 20, 30 grand to learn it. So you're losing money. You're going to debt to learn knowledge in a traditional sense. But wholesaling real estate is a skill that you're building. It's like a muscle that you're actively working, but you're also building capital at the same time. So it's a win-win situation, man. It's like the building blocks as a real estate investor, at least for me. You know, I'm 2.5 years into the business now. You know, I did strictly cash wholesale deals first. And I rolled that in to start buying one property at a time, just like Monopoly, man. So now we have a portfolio, and we're just getting started.
Why is that so important to somebody? Like, you know, in my view, right? I think the importance of wholesale is it allows people to enter the real estate industry without having like their own capital.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to be a wholesaler, you don't necessarily have to have your own capital.
Right.
So honestly, it's an amazing step one. You know, I think maybe step one would be the education. And then the first thing that you should do is really understand how you can develop capital by not putting your own money at risk, or maybe you don't have your own money to do it. You have a way of generating your own nest egg, your own capital to begin doing your investment.
So you're telling me you don't need your own money or credit to be successful at wholesale, to get your first deal?
Bro, wholesale is an amazing way to enter the real estate market. And I think it's one of the, in my view, it's one of the least known ways. It's one of the most niche, least known ways to develop wealth.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was an investor for years buying and selling property. I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about slow flip.
Yeah.
Like, this is a big deal.
Check out episode 6 on slow flips, man. We just shot that.
Yeah.
That was a banger.
Yeah, that was the last video we did. I think that would be the sister video to this.
Yeah.
So, you know, you would watch that video, and I would very much suggest after you watch this, you watch that video.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Master this wholesale stuff first. So we're about to get into master this. Let this be the foundation, and you build upon that because it's the same acquisition skill sets that you use from this for slow flips, for buying holes, whatever the case may be. But this right here, honestly, the ability to talk to a seller, man, to negotiate direct to seller and exchange value, it's a skill you would never trade up.
Yeah.
I remember like I was helping a friend buy a car, like a year into my business. Before I was in real estate, I was like, whatever price we could get, I'm cool with that. Like you're just like settling, right? You kind of getting taken advantage of. But after transacting real estate deals all the time, everything in life is negotiable.
Yeah.
So I was able to use those skill sets, get a great value on the car.
Yeah. They transition over.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a fair value exchange, man. And again, it applies to everywhere in life, honestly.
Yeah.
For sure.
What has wholesale done for your life personally? How's understanding and learning the wholesale industry? How has that affected your personal life?
Man, I don't even know where to start, bro. I mean, I started because I was broke. So financially, my life is very different now. I could take a trip if I needed to out of the country. I'm not saving up all year for that one trip. Yeah. It's not just about, the luxuries of life, but having that sense of freedom now. I just fired my 9 to 5 a little bit over a month ago. That's very powerful. Every day that I wake up, I have full authorization of what I do on my day-to-day basis. And shout out to my brother for helping me understand this is doable, man. You can make money on your own terms and you'll amplify that for sure.
Yeah.
So not only that though, man, it's the skill sets, right? Like knowledge is super powerful no matter what happens to you in your life because money comes and goes. You can make the money, you can lose the money. Money comes and goes, but that knowledge of how to create money is priceless for sure.
I seen a video once. I thought it was super interesting. They were talking about what the concept of luxury, right? And they talked about all these kind of luxurious things: cars, houses, watches, jewelry. The most interesting subject that they brought up was time. You don't really have anything else but time. So by having your own time, you can dictate your own terms in life. Like that is the ultimate luxury.
Wow.
If you think about what the wealthy do, why would a person spend millions and millions of dollars on a plane to maintain it? You know what I mean? Why would somebody buy a Gulfstream?
Right.
It's so much money. Why would they just hire a private company to take flights? It's time. They have their own pilot. Their pilot, they're on call. They call the pilot to schedule a time frame for them to fly out. They do their flight schedule, and then they take their flight when they want to take it. Why is that so important? Why are they willing to spend millions and millions of dollars for people to work around their time? That's the ultimate luxury. Having your time back is that's the ultimate life hack. Being able to do what you want to do with your time, that supersedes any luxury that you could ever buy.
That's so true.
You only have time. One day, all of us, if you walk that graveyard, we're all going to have a time that there's a beginning and there's an expiration date, right? In between that is what you have. And anything that holds up your time is taking away from that period of life that you have. So by having that financial freedom, you get to live this life on your terms. You get to have the ultimate luxury that you've never considered, right? Waking up every day and doing what you want to do is a gift from God. That supersedes any luxury, any car, any watch, anything that you want to do. Anything that you can buy is being able to do what you want to do with your life.
Of buying your time back.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Having your personal time to do what you want to do, it's at the top pinnacle of luxury.
Absolutely. Here's another prime example, kind of talking on time.
Yeah.
I think a year into my business, I hired a cleaner for my spot. Dude, tremendous. Why am I spending all day trying to clean up my spot?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be on the phone making, closing more deals.
Yeah.
So every other week to this day, I have a cleaner comes in, cleans everything up, puts everything away. Some people might look at that oh, you think you're just too good to clean up for it. I'm no, bro, it's not worth my time. I'd rather pay somebody for their time.
There's an opportunity cost.
There you go.
Yes. There's an opportunity cost when you realize what the value of your time is. There's a value loss in doing things that are not worth your time as a person.
Right.
And by understanding time, your ultimate luxury, you are now unlocking who you are, what you should be doing with your time, who you should be giving that time to, what relationship you should be giving that time to.
Yeah.
Right? Think about how much you were depositing your time into other relationships that were useless.
Tell me about it, bro.
Right? Like how much have you lost in those time those are useless relationships.
Yeah, you don't look back like, oh, I spent so much money. It's more so like, man, I spent years of time.
You don't ever remember the money.
Yeah, bro.
But you do remember the time.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And I like what you said. Like, you're unlocking yourself, man. Because, like,
you're understanding your value as a human being, and what you were put on this earth to do is super important. And when you unlock your time, you can utilize your time better.
Right.
And wholesale
to better yourself, really.
Yeah. And wholesale is a facilitator of understanding your time. You begin to reevaluate all of your personal relationships after wholesale.
Right.
It is that powerful of a investment strategy. I get the money part of it. I understand that people tune into wholesale and become an investor to make money. But I don't really think that that's what they want. I think what people want is time and security. And then once they have time and security, they want the other luxuries of life.
Would you say time and security means financial freedom, essentially?
Bro, that's the ultimate luxury.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine waking up in the morning and being able to take your kids to school. Imagine being able to take your wife on vacation. Imagine being able to provide for your family members. Imagine, not having to ask for a vacation time. You just book a flight, go do what you want to do. That's the ultimate. What more? Yeah. What's more luxurious than that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's true. That's the essence of luxury.
Yeah.
It's freedom.
Yeah.
That's like the true essence of luxury. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is secondary to that thinking. So if you're watching this and you value your own freedom, your personal freedom, your freedom to choose, your freedom to do what you want to do with your time, your freedom to raise your kids, your freedom to be a stay-at-home parent, your freedom to spend time with your wife, spend time with your mom and dad, your freedom
or your husband,
go on vacation, spend time with your friends, then this video applies to you. If those things don't apply to you, it's probably not a video you want to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think let's go through what are the steps to buying back the ultimate freedom, the ultimate luxury in life, personal freedom.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Let's talk about it. So step one, if you're brand new, you want to get into this, let's start with the basics, right? The basics matters, of course. Establish your entity.
Yeah.
LLC, S Corp, whatever. Talk to your CPA about that. Just establish an entity. When I started off, I just started LLC. And the reason being, you're starting to mature that company. So maybe 2 years down the line when you're actively wholesaling deals, bringing in income, you started that business 2 years ago. So you're more bankable. Your business is now more bankable because you started that process. So even though you're just now learning, you're like, I'm not ready to make that first call yet. Just start the entity because you're going to need that anyways to transact on a wholesale deal. That's just kind of the marketplace that we're moving into.
Yeah. There's one other thing that I want to speak on with regard to your entity. Some people, there are people that have financial problems. They have credit issues. They have things that they think they're going to hold them back. They have obstacles, and they view these obstacles as an impossibility for them to move forward in life. They let their credit score determine whether or not they're going to have their freedom back. That's crazy. Imagine letting a credit bureau dictate your life. That's insane. So there's a life hack that we should talk about here. When you're setting up your LLC, you're creating an entity. That entity also has a credit score eventually. That entity also has its own holdings. That entity becomes a person under the eyes of the law. This is a Supreme Court ruling on this.
Yep.
That entity is another legal entity.
It's
right?
a person. It's literally a person.
It's considered a person under the law, under the eyes of the law. So that person can now have its own credit. When you are the sole member of that entity, when you have even if you're not the sole member, if you have the rights of control under that entity, you can begin to utilize that entity to do what it is that you want to do. Maybe your credit is not great, but your LLC credit is on the way up. You can build that credit, utilize that credit to do what you need to do. And I think that's a very important thing for people to understand. Don't let a credit bureau dictate whether or not you're going to have your freedom back. That's crazy.
It's a fact.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Because what we're teaching today is about skill sets, bro. That's something no company, organization can ever take from you. So you're here to build a skill set. Now, understand, to build a skill set, it's going to require your time. You can't just do this half-ass, in between Netflix shows. Like, you have to commit yourself and really dedicate yourself to this.
Yeah.
Like, that's no fluff. Like, that's what I had to do for myself. There's no handouts with this.
Yeah.
The work just has to get done.
Absolutely.
Just work, bro. So that's step one. Step two, man, you just made your entity LLC doc. It's probably like under $200 to do that online. That's what I did.
Where would they go to create an entity?
For PA, it's I open mine through Inc. Authority. I don't even get paid from them. I'm just trying to get a free game. Just type in whatever state you want to open that in. Just don't get caught up on that stuff. It's very simple. Just do some research, consult with somebody, maybe a CPA, and open that up. Step two, create a business bank account.
Yeah.
Again, just start. You might think, oh, I'm a new person. I'm not a business owner. You have to think like a business owner.
Yes.
You have to start where you want to end up at. So start separating your personal income from your business income. You know what I mean? Like, you're creating a company now. So kind of put on those pants, essentially.
So when you set up that LLC, you're creating an entity, and that entity has a federal tax ID number.
Yes.
That federal tax ID number becomes the quote unquote social security number for that company. So by setting up that federal tax ID number, now you can set up a bank account, and you can begin to set up credit for that LLC.
Right.
So your credit, your personal credit, has nothing to do with that LLC's credit. Sometimes people look for a personal guarantee in order to sign for something when you're using a new LLC.
Right.
But if you develop that LLC, start developing credit for it, open up a bank account for it, over time, your personal credit becomes divested from the credit of that LLC. So it's incredibly important that people understand that their credit it's not an obstacle. It is not an obstacle to doing this. It's basically a small problem that you need to work around. And by creating your LLC, you're moving in that direction.
I know people with criminal records, man, wholesaling real estate. Like, just
crazy.
Yeah, there's no excuses.
Crazy.
Shout out to Colleen. She's paralyzed from the waist down. Shout out to her for her operation. But
yeah,
anyone can do this.
Yes.
So don't let your false kind of narratives in your own head stop you from making your money, bro.
You're not. This is not above you. Don't get into a mindset of thinking that something is better than me.
Ooh,
There's no such thing as that. Nothing is better than you. It all comes down to how much work and how much time and effort you're going to put in. It is not, business owners are not superior beings that have descended from the heavens in order to create wealth. That's not. They're just regular people, and they problem solve.
Yep.
Most of the time, their lives is surrounded around problem solving. And once you understand that for every problem there's a solution, you begin to look for those. You become solution oriented. You start looking for solutions to problems. You stop worrying about how emotional you get caught up with the problem. Like, I have a rule of thumb, right? When I get bad news, I tell myself I'm not allowed to react to it for 15 minutes. If somebody calls me and says, man, we got a problem, I don't allow myself to react emotionally to that conversation for 15 minutes. Now, why is it important that I don't react for 15 minutes? I don't react for 15 minutes because I allow the chemical reaction to bad news dissipates in about 15 minutes. Do you understand that?
Right.
So you get bad news. Somebody calls you, tells you, yo, man, we got a plumbing leak. We got some kind of problem. Okay, wonderful. I know me. I'm not going to react to this for 15 minutes. If after 15 minutes, I feel like reacting to it, then it's a problem worth reacting to. If I can dissipate how I feel about it in 15 minutes, it's not a real problem.
What's considered a real problem?
One of my children are hurt. My parents are not around. My friends are in the hospital. Somebody's paralyzed. Somebody's injured. Something that money can't buy and money can't fix. That's a real problem. All this shit is temporary. This is going to come and go. This is not real.
It's just material things.
Yeah, bro. Ain't no car accident. Ain't no, none of this shit is really going to change.
Yeah.
You can buy the car, you can sell a car, bro. You lose a family member, you ain't getting that family member back. That's not something that money can buy. You can't buy back your youth
as much as you want.
Yeah, so none of these things really matter. So by controlling how you react to negative news, you condition yourself to not be emotionally driven. You condition yourself to think logically about your reaction to problems. And most of the time, people are trained and conditioned to be emotional about problems. And they get into a cyclical negative tailspin. And that's not problem solving. Because you can't solve a problem if your emotions are in control.
You're not thinking clearly.
You don't think clearly when you're emotional. You think clearly when you're logical. And emotion is the enemy of thought. So by limiting how emotional you are about problems, you're able to react to problems surgically, logically, step by step, and you don't allow yourself to be engulfed by whatever emotion's going on around you. 15-minute rule. You get hit with a problem, you don't react for 15 minutes. If after 15 minutes it's a big enough problem, cut yourself some slack.
What if the contractor calls you and he needs an answer in that moment though? Do you I'll call you right back type of thing, or?
No, I give him an answer, but I don't allow my emotions to get mixed up in the conversation.
I see.
I don't care how I feel, bro.
Right.
How I feel about what he's saying is not relevant. He needs an answer to a problem. He has a problem, he needs a resolution. He or she needs a resolution.
Right.
As long as somebody's not hurt, we're good.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a great way to look at it.
It's just money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if they're printing a lot of it, it ain't gonna stop. They're not gonna stop printing. So at the end of the day, they're gonna make more of it. If you follow this podcast, you're gonna make more of it. So why get caught up in an emotional thing?
Abundance mindset, man.
Absolutely.
It's a fact.
Absolutely.
Cool. So we went on step 3. Guys, I want you to understand, bro, these 10 steps we about to give you right now, you could listen to this podcast and tomorrow lock up your first deal. That's the point of this. That's why we're spending the time right now and breaking this down.
Free game.
Because this stuff actually works. This is what we do.
Freedom game.
Right after this podcast, we're going to do the same stuff to lock up some more deals, man. So step 3. So you got your business bank account. Your entity is established. Cool. Step 3, motivated seller. How do I find motivated sellers?
How do you find motivated sellers? You go to where the sellers are. So where are the sellers?
Where they at?
Yeah, where they at.
Maybe
Real simple.
They're in the house.
They're in the house.
How do I talk to them?
Well, you have Zillow for sale by owner, your go-to basic source for finding a motivated seller, right? There's Zillow's for sale by owner.
Don't sleep real quick. Let's cook on that. Don't sleep on Zillow for sale by owner.
Yeah.
You have the owner's address, the property's address. You have the owner's phone number and their name because they went themselves on the free app that you have on your phone that's also for free. You call them up.
How motivated is a person that goes on an app to list their house and avoid a realtor?
And to upload photos.
Pretty motivated. So that's a key motivated seller list.
And read that description. Got to sell by 30 days.
Yeah.
No BS buyer. You kind of get an idea of who they are already and how distressed they are.
Yeah.
These are distressed situations, and our job is to help problem solve for them, figure out what's going on.
And key element here, there's no third party between you and them, so you can communicate with them clean.
Yes.
There's no air resistance on that plane. There's no rivets that you have to worry about. It's flush. You can just get to the source.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you go through that third party, that fourth party, it's everything is discombobulated.
Goddamn headache,
you know what
bro.
I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. You don't get the real source of the information.
You gotta talk to Jill, Bob, and Brian. You know what I'm saying?
Zillow for sale by owner is primary source material. You go to the source of the seller and you communicate with that source.
Yep.
What's another way that they can pull a motivated seller?
So yeah, the way you could kind of hit more at once is pull a skip trace list. So essentially, you're aggregating public data in a particular county,
yes.
Mississippi, whatever city they're in. You can hire a skip tracer. You can look it up on Fiverr. They're all over Facebook.
What's an example of a list that they could pull? What's an example of a good list that you would find that you could, the criteria of the list that they should pull?
Good question.
Yeah.
I love retired landlords. So guys are getting a little bit older. They have a portfolio. They don't want to keep up with these rental properties anymore. So I'm looking for anyone that has at least, let's just say 2 years of ownership. Again, every market a little bit different. I'd say at least 30% or more equity in the house, because if the mortgage is too high, it's a little hard to, negotiate a deal on that. Absentee owner, meaning that owner's not living in the property, or out-of-state absentee. So I want to be
so tired landlord.
Tired landlord. I like the guys that might be in California, but they have a portfolio in Ohio type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, just I look for retired landlord. That's like my type of list. There's so many different ways you could really, it's a science behind it.
Yeah.
But that's a very basic one that really works.
What other list like generating tools would you suggest?
I mean, just pull a list, man. But how you market to those lists is what matters. That's the difference.
So one criteria was tired landlord, correct? Right. What other criteria is a
Oh, yeah, like probate.
Probate's
a good one. So, you know, owners, they inherit the property maybe from like the grandfather passed away.
Yeah. Can you just explain probate a little bit better?
Yeah. Probate is essentially a legal process of a deed transferring from the one owner to one of their heirs. So a father has 2 sons and he passed away. There's no wife involved, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
The courts go through a probate process and now the 2 sons own 50% ownership of that property.
When a person passes away, there's an executor of that estate.
Yes.
There's somebody that needs to be assigned as the person responsible to deal with the holdings of that person, to deal with the assets of that person. There's a legal process to that, and that legal process is called probate.
Correct.
It's really that simple. It's not a big word that you can't understand. It just means somebody passed away. There's family members, there's heirs, and you need to go through the probate process in order to assign somebody that has legal right to sell that property.
Right.
Because the original legal owner of that property, they passed away.
Absolutely.
Right?
And a lot of times, you know, it's a vacant property or like a house that needs some work.
Yeah.
And those heirs want nothing to do with that house. So they're emotionally detached from that.
They're emotionally detached, and there's another interesting rule of thumb when you're dealing with inheritance. Inheritance is interesting because when somebody gets something that they didn't earn, they value it less.
Wow.
Yeah. Like think about everything that, like, if you have children, it's important to make sure that they earn what they have, right? And when they don't earn what they have, what do they get? They don't value it. They get this mindset where they don't value what they have. A lot of inheritance situation is people just don't value what they receive. They look at it as a burden.
Yep.
And if they start incurring costs on it, it's even more of a burden. Yeah. And they need to move that burden off of their shoulders.
Utility bills, taxes.
Clean up. Yeah. Like they don't want to do it. And if you got multiple people involved, what happens when you got multiple people involved in a piece of real estate? You got a lot of personalities and a lot of problems, and you want to be done with it.
Yeah.
And how often are brothers and sisters and family members arguing over stuff?
Yeah. My most discounted deals I've gotten are from probate.
Yeah.
For sure.
So probate is another list. What other lists?
I mean, again, bro, I hit retired landlords a whole lot, right? Yeah. You could do foreclosures. That's a tricky list, but that one you could extract a lot of value out of.
How about expired listings?
Ooh.
Expired listings.
Expired MLS listings, yeah.
What is an expired listing? Can you just explain that?
So a seller at some point listed the property with a real estate agent. For whatever reason, it just didn't sell. You know, maybe went on 2 months, 3 months, sometimes over a year. And you're like, you know what? I don't want this anymore. But they were motivated enough to list their property for a reason. And now they've been waited out for a whole year. And they still own that property.
How frustrated are they?
Must be very frustrated.
How cooked are they? How fricasseed are they? How flame broiled are they? You know what I mean? That's a motivated seller. That's what you need to you need to understand who's pressed.
Right.
What is a motivated seller? A motivated seller is somebody that is pressed. If you get on the phone with a seller and they're like, "Yeah, I'll sell when I feel like it." Congratulations. That's a waste of time. You know what I mean? Like, move on.
Get off the phone ASAP, bro.
Yeah, that's not a motivated seller.
We're not here to convince people to sell.
Yeah.
We're here to help them get to that point A to point B.
Your key in this conversation with the seller is, are they motivated or not? Are you dealing with a motivated seller? If you don't sense a sense of urgency in that seller, you don't have a motivated seller. What you have is somebody that's shopping around, fishing for a deal, thinking about selling. That's not a seller.
You're going to come across more of those than actual motivated sellers. So that's where the work comes in.
The vast majority of sellers that you communicate with are going to be sellers that are not motivated. Mm-hmm. They say they're motivated, but they're not pressed. Okay. I think one key difference between a great wholesaler and somebody that's just going through the motions is they know how to read between the lines. Mm. When you get somebody on the phone and you can hear the urgency in their voice. The urgency. Can you hear it? Can you hear that they're pressed? Can you hear their wife in the background saying, sell that goddamn property? Can you hear it? If you can't hear the urgency in the conversations, I don't know. You got somebody that's feeling like selling. What I do in that scenario is I tell them very simply, if you're not interested in selling right now, I'll call you back at a later time. I want to speak to urgent sellers today.
Period.
Urgent. Pressed.
Period.
And if they're not pressed, let them cook. Let them take an L for 3 months holding a property, paying property taxes, insurance, cleaning up the lot so they don't get hit with fines from the city, cutting the grass. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with heating expenses, cooling expenses, keeping utilities on, paying for an empty property. Let them cook. Let them give them time. Let them season.
Let them sit in it.
Let them simmer. Let the seller simmer. They're not ready. They're not ready for that yet. Mm-hmm. So when you have a press seller, you hear in their voice urgency. You read between the lines, and then when you present an offer, you're presenting an offer to a willing seller. A deal is not made unless you have two parties, a willing buyer and a willing seller. Let me say it again so you can understand. This is a key element of making any deal. You don't get a deal done unless you have a willing buyer and a willing seller. I get on the phone as a willing buyer every time. That's my MO, right? I get in to do a deal. I get on the phone to do a deal. I'm looking for who? My match. I'm looking for somebody to get on the phone with me that I feel is what? They're as pressed to sell as I am pressed to buy.
That's a good point.
And if there's not an equal press to sell and press to buy, you don't have a meeting of the minds. And without a meeting of the minds, you don't have a deal. You have nothing. You have a conversation. Spend your time conversing with the right people.
Yeah, move on quickly. Now, real quick, just to be clear, right? So
yeah.
Are you coming off as a buyer to that seller, even though you intend to wholesale it? That's a question that comes up often.
I'm an investor, cuz.
There you go.
I'm always a buyer.
So even if you're brand new, you got to own it, bro. You're now an investor.
I'm an investor. I'm not a wholesaler. I don't run a wholesale operator. I'm an investment company.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? One of my dispo processes is investing. One is wholesaling.
Yep.
It's just a tool in my bag.
There you go.
Sometimes I wholesale. Sometimes I take the deal down.
So you don't box yourself in.
No.
So don't. Yeah.
Why would you?
There you go.
Why would you want to put yourself in a box? Why would you take yourself out of the box of being an employee and, you know, not wanting to do anything with your time and then go put yourself in another box? It don't make a lot of sense, does it?
That's a fact.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's a good point because, like, when I first started, like, oh, I'm a wholesaler, because I was so used to that condition, like, oh, I'm a CAD technician at my 9-to-5 job. So now I'm moving from this to that. Like, nah, bro.
Yo, labels are an interesting thing. When you spend your life labeling yourself, you're throwing limits on your life. Why are you putting that on you?
Why would you want that for yourself?
Why would you put that on yourself?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do that.
Absolutely.
You could just not do that. You could just say, I want to do a little bit of everything. I want to understand the world around me. I don't want to be labeled as anything.
Right.
Despite what I'm wearing.
For sure.
For those of you that got that, congratulations. For those of you that went over your head, you know, you'll get it on the next one.
So real quick, man, you know, someone might ask, hey, I got Zillow for sale by owner. I see John, he wants to sell his house. Do I call him from my personal line? I personally don't recommend that. When I first started, if you got no money, get a Google Voice number. It's a separate phone number. You use it as your business number. Just like, bro, just start where you're at. Just use the resources around you and just take advantage and get busy. So I set up a Google Voice number. It was free. You know what I mean? It wasn't attached to my actual personal cell. I just started banging out those calls on Zillow. If you pull a list, you can cold call that list. I recommend cold calling because that's how you really build up your skill set of negotiating sellers, seeing who's interested, reading between the lines. Like, you learn a lot doing the work, man. I'm telling you, just do the work. It's more important than reading 15 books and watching 25 podcasts. It's just actually picking up the phone and calling these people and working a deal.
How do you dissect and understand urgency? That's a good one, man. Like, how do you really understand if this seller has a sense of urgency? What are the key factors that are red flags when you're communicating with somebody about whether or not a seller is an urgent seller or not?
That's a good question. I like to keep it simple. First and foremost, my first question ever: are you serious about selling this house in the next 30 days?
Yeah.
Like, is it like, oh yeah, or like, no, I need to sell this yesterday? I've heard that before.
Yeah.
They are definitely ready to sell.
Yeah.
You know,
so you just flat out ask them.
I ask them straight up.
That's a great way to find out.
And I confirm it throughout the process. Like, okay, how long you been dealing with this problem of this tenant not paying you? Oh yeah, for 2 months now, and you know, I'm going to court and back and forth situation. Like, you're hearing their problems.
You're hearing confirmations of what they're saying.
Exactly.
You're
they said yes, and now they're confirming along the call.
They're confirming by examples. Precisely. In the conversation.
You peel back the layers, bro.
Yeah.
And that moves into step 4 is when you speak to that interested seller, what are the 4 things out of each call you need to get? So here's the 4 things. I'm going to run them off.
Yeah.
Again, first and foremost, I want to hammer this in, bro. Like, whether I was brand new or where I'm at today, my first ever question: are you serious about selling in the next 30 days? We're not moving on until you answer that. If it's like, nah, around Christmas time next year, I'm ready to sell. Cool. I'm off the phone. I'll talk to you then.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I need to be speaking to people that's ready to put a deal together right now. Step number 2, figure out the condition and the occupancy. Look, I'm not a contractor, so I'm not going to know exactly cost per square footage, blah, 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 especially someone that's brand new. So don't get hung up on that. Overall, like, was the property burnt before? Did the tenant just move out? It just needs to be cleaned up. Just kind of get an idea of it. Don't go super deep into it, because a seller will have an unmotivated seller will spend plenty of time talking about how beautiful their house is. And now you're 30 minutes on a call talking about stuff that doesn't really matter.
So condition of the property.
Condition, is it vacant?
Yeah.
Is the tenant occupied? Just real quick.
Condition and occupancy.
Yeah.
Because if it's occupied, a livable home is a pretty decent condition home.
The water's running, electric's on.
You have a home that a human being could live in.
Yeah.
So you have utilities on. It can't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've seen some situations.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that is like questionable. But as long as if there's a livable home, there's a value to that.
There you go.
So by understanding the condition and the occupancy, it reveals a lot about the condition of the home.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If it's been vacant for a while, like, how long has it been vacant? Like 2 weeks or 2 years? Like, those questions matter. Part number 3, again, you're talking to the seller. Why are they selling? This is the most important part. This is where you pull out the emotionality of the seller.
Yeah.
You know, hey, my mom, she passed away.
What's their motivation?
Right. So here's the part though, right? Like, if they're talking about a deep, like, saddening situation, you don't just rush on like, okay, well, how much you want for it? Like, just be a human being, bro. Like, connect with them, understand, like, hey, that's my condolences. Be real. Like, be yourself and be real.
Like, real quick, imagine getting on the phone with somebody and they're like, I just lost my mom. I just lost my dad. And imagine right after that pivoting into, do you want to sell your house? Like, bro.
It's a turnoff, bro.
You don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
This person just lost a family member. They don't give a shit about the house.
Right.
Give them the time.
Give them the time.
Give them the time. What I do in that scenario is I tell them straight up, like, is this a good time for you? My prayers go out to you and your family. Should I call you back at a later time? You tell me when it works for you. I'll just contact you back when you're ready.
That's a good point.
And you take away that callousness. You don't have, it doesn't need to be that way. You can just be human.
You're showing respect, man.
Absolutely.
You're showing respect.
And it goes a long way.
It does.
I've done one of my biggest deals was because I showed respect to that person's family. Like, the guy sat on a property for like over a year. It was like my biggest assignment. And I walked into the property and it was there was a roof leak. There were, the family stuff was still there. And I met the guy there and I'm like, why have you, like, what was the reason? He's just like, it's my mom's house. I wasn't ready to sell. And by me just being human with the guy, she was an older woman, bro. But like, I don't care how old you are. You lose a family member, you lose a mom. I don't care if you're 100 years old and your mom's 200 years old. Your mom is your mom.
Yep.
You lose your mom, bro. That hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna go sell her house and all her belongings. That hurts.
You're grieving, but you're also having to do business, man. That's not easy.
It's not easy. So you give them the time, and be respectful of that. And by doing that, you purchase goodwill. You deposit a goodwill into that account, that relationship account. And by depositing goodwill, that buys you something that another caller or another wholesaler would not have. Respect.
I've had sellers tell me that. It's like, yo, I get these calls all the time. You're the only person that listens to me. People just want to be heard, man.
It goes a long way.
I'm telling you. And
Yeah,
it's an authentic way, for sure. Way. So understand their motivation. So they could be going through a divorce. It could be a probate situation. The tenant probably tore the house up and they're 58 years old and they're tired of fixing up a house. There's so many reasons why. It's your job to ask the right questions to figure out what's going on. No one just wakes up and like, oh, I want to sell my house today.
Yeah.
No one just does that. That's actually real about selling their house.
So once you hammer down on their motivation and you hammer down on the condition of the property, why they're selling, the next thing you want to do, like this is a very important part of the conversation. You want to ask them just plain out, like plain simple, just point blank, what do you want for the property?
Yep.
Like ask them.
What's their asking price?
What is their, like, what were they hoping to get for the property? By asking them that simple question, it gives you a range on where these people are. It gives you a range of whether or not you're going to be hitting them with a number that they feel is insulting and they're going to get upset with you. And, you know, or they feel like it's too low, or maybe you had a number that's too high.
Right.
So by you getting them to commit to a number, it gives you an idea of whether or not you're in the same ballpark.
It's very important, guys, because they could just shut the door in your face. He wanted 100K, you shot him 20K, but you didn't know he wanted 100. So really try to get at least a ballpark out of a seller, and then I don't just flat out ask him, hey, how much do you want for it? I like to frame it in such a way, like, hey, John, considering I could buy your house all cash as is condition, 30 days or less, no closing costs on your part, no commission fees.
Yeah.
What is your absolute bottom dollar on this price?
Yeah.
I'm bringing my benefits of working with me.
Yeah. You're listing the benefits before you ask them the price.
Exactly. I'm framing it. It's like, okay.
I really like that.
Yeah. He's like, damn, you said as is condition? I've gotten a deal like that before. He's like, wait, you said as is?
Yeah.
The house was a dog, bro.
Yeah.
That's why you want to sell it.
I mean, why else would you be pressed to sell it? You know
there
what I mean?
You go.
If the house is in pristine condition and it's a retail-ready property, typically we're not the buyers of that
Why
property.
would they sell it off market?
Yeah.
And as a wholesaler, we focus on off market deals. You can wholesale on market. That's a whole separate thing, but you want to be direct to seller off market. Find the problems.
Guys, when you're a wholesaler, you're in the distressed housing business. That's just what it is. That's the industry that you're in. So you know what I'm saying? You're not going to get squeaky clean properties ready to sell, usually, unless there's a distressed reason. There's a financially distressed reason. There's a probate problem. There's something inherently wrong with the property. There's something that is pushing that seller to be motivated, to be pressed to sell.
Yeah. And one last thing to touch on that, the whole time, make sure you're building rapport.
Yeah.
We were kind of like really touching on, but building rapport goes a long way for sure. That's how you lock up a deal.
Be human.
Yeah. Be on the same side of the table as that seller, man.
Yeah.
Goes a long way.
Don't get on the phone with somebody and turn in the ShamWow guy. You know a ShamWow guy?
Is that the
guy that sells the sponges,
commercial,
the wiping things or whatever it is? You don't need to sound like a salesman. That's not what this is. All you got to do is be human.
Who would that have to sound like?
You.
There you go.
Be authentic.
Be yourself.
Yeah. Be an authentic human being, and that goes a long way.
Yep. 100%. Okay, cool. So you got those 4 things out of the seller. You found them on Zillow. You found them from a skip trace list. You talked to them. He wants to sell in 30 days. Here's his asking price. Here's his motivation. What do you do from there?
You get it on the contract.
No, before that though.
What do you?
Before you put on the contract, step 5 is underwrite the deal though. You don't even know what to submit.
You need to underwrite the deal. You need to underwrite the deal to understand your numbers. Once you understand your numbers, you know how to make an offer.
Right.
And then when you make an offer, make sure that offer comes in to whereas there's a spread.
Right.
If you come in high on the offer, you don't have anything.
So how do you do that?
You underwrite the deal.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to understand what the comps are in the area.
Yep.
And you got to understand what the condition of the property is. And by understanding the comps and the condition, you can come in with an offer that makes sense, that leaves room for you a commission or profit in the deal for you to resell this to an investor or to take it down as an investor.
Right.
Your choice.
In a wholesale deal, yeah, you get paid through assignment fees as they call it. So you got to make sure you build in, your
assignment.
Your margin, exactly. Yeah. So you want to, your subject property might be a 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,000 square feet. Run comparable sales in that particular neighborhood. Don't be going like 2 highways over, railroad that way, or a lake over the lake this way.
Yeah.
Keep it tight. Try to keep it like 3 months or less in terms of comparable sales. You could pull up Redfin, Zillow to find comps, and keep it like a half a mile radius, like I said, man. And want to talk about ARVs?
Yeah. Your goal in making an offer is to buy it right.
Yeah.
The key element of being an investor or a wholesaler is to buy it right. When you're an investor, you buy it right. When you're a wholesaler, you buy it right. You got to buy it right twice because you got to pack in your fee before the investor buy. So let's use numbers so people can understand. A typical let's say you're buying a $300,000 house. A typical investor would want to buy that for 50% on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, 65 cents maybe, between 50 to 65 cents on the dollar, depending on the area, depending on the ARV climb in that area. You as a wholesaler, you need to pick that thing up for like 45, 40 cents on the dollar. 50 cents on the dollar if you can get 65 cents on the dollar for it. Use round numbers for you. If the house ARV is 300, you want to be able to pick that thing up for less than 150. That would be an amazing number for you to get for a property like that, depending on the ARVs. If you feel like that there's ARV flexibility because of the square footage, because of the bedroom, bathroom count, you may be able to press that ARV higher. A good rule of thumb before you start making people offers is to start running comps on the last 6 months of sales in that area and start do your own comps reports and start recognizing who got a deal and who didn't in that neighborhood. Who bought something and got a great deal? Who got a dog deal? Who got an okay deal? Who paid retail? Once you have an understanding of what those numbers are, you can come back to that seller and say, this is what I'm prepared to pay. And you can say that confidently. When you get on the phone with a seller that's pressed, guess what? They can also hear things in your conversation. They can also hear bullshit. They can also hear what? Confidence in your delivery because you feel confident in your number. You're not making them an offer like, maybe. You're making an offer based on facts. And when you deliver confidently, you're more likely to close the deal.
Yeah.
So by understanding your comps, that is a crucial part of this business.
Yeah.
Comping properties.
Your data gives you confidence,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So quick napkin math you could use. ARV means after repair value. So what are the HGTV fixed up properties selling for in the last 6 months? So use that average in that market, multiply that by 75%. Every market is a little bit different. Ohio, I'm seeing 65% on the dollar is what investors are looking for. But a typical rule of thumb is ARV multiplied by 75%, subtract your rehab costs. So say, you talk to the seller, say it's in your backyard, you inspected the property, you took some photos, you send it to a contractor friend, you're like, yo, it would be like $35K to fix this up to put it top of the market, right?
Yeah.
ARV, so $300K times the 75% minus $35K, whatever that number spits out. That's the most your investor, your buyer, if you're looking to wholesale the deal, is the most your buyer will pay for. You need to work in your fee now. So let's just say that number spits out to be like, I don't know, 150 or something like that. But you want to make $20K on the deal, you have to lock it up no more than 130. So you put on the contract for 130, boom, under contract with the seller. Now you sell it to your end buyer for 150. You make your 20K assignment fee in between. So play that back if you have to, but that's a quick way to underwrite. That's how you know how to come up with your offer.
There's also XLS spreadsheets. There's formula generators that you can find online for free.
Yep.
That help you understand where your offer range should be.
Absolutely.
Understanding your range, understanding where that property's ARV is, quantifying the after renovation value of that property. That's the difference between somebody knows what they're doing and somebody doesn't know what they're doing. I've seen tons of wholesalers lock deals up too high. You don't have anything. I tell them straight up, you don't have anything. Because as an investor, I know what I'm going to be willing to pay.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Do you take them serious moving on now if they keep sending crappy deals or what? From your experience?
It depends. I judge people based on character.
I feel like.
If I see that they're ill-informed and they don't know how to comp, but they have a positive attitude, they're humble people, then I know I can teach them how to comp.
Right.
But
you're a good person though.
I try to respect them for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I see, they just don't want to understand.
With just straight cold emails, at some point you probably put in a junk mail. It's I'm getting bad deals all the time.
If they don't know how to comp a deal as a wholesaler, you don't quit your day job. Literally, you got to know how to comp a deal. You got to know how to make an accurate offer. If you can't make an accurate offer, you're not going to make any money here.
Right.
It's just really that simple.
Hey guys, it takes time, bro. Don't feel like you have to know this right out the gate. Make some mistakes. I was locking up deals way too high when I started. I'm not saying you should do that, but it happens. Don't let it stop you. I'm telling you.
Listen, there's another school of thought. You can hunt on your own or in a pack. If you hunt on your own, you kill what you eat. If you hunt in a pack, you may be able to share in the meal. So you have to decide how you want to hunt. You understand? If you're not able to ARV, comp, send out contracts, if you don't understand the contract side of it, if you don't understand how to lock it up, the title side of it, if you don't understand how to pull lists, if you don't understand the mechanics of this, find a pack.
Yes.
Associate yourself with the right people. Let them help you and help them bring value and ask for value in exchange.
Yes.
Or hunt on your own and eat on your own, which is also possible. But if you don't know how to do that, hunt in a pack. Maybe you recognize that hunting in a pack yields you a result that you never imagined because you get to focus on the best aspects of you. Maybe you're not good at ARVs. Maybe you're not good at underwriting. Maybe you're not good at sending out contracts. Maybe you're not good at dealing with title companies. Maybe you're not good at scheduling times, but you are good at talking to people.
That's a damn good skill, bro.
That's a great skill. You get to, if you can communicate and develop rapport with your sellers, you're able to close deals. You just don't get the other stuff right. Yeah. So find a pack that will elevate you to get better at those things.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bro, it goes a long way. Being able to negotiate. If you're brand new, just focus on how to speak to sellers, bro. You can't. Really, you won't go wrong.
That's step one, man. Like really
hone in on that.
Yeah, hone in on that and just focus on that. Focus on the part that you're good at, and then figure out the rest. Absolutely.
Cool. So yeah, let's just say you have your offer lined up. Like, yo, I want to make $20K. I need to offer the seller $130. You submit your offer. What does that look like? You did your underwriting.
If you want to be taken seriously, you need to act serious. Send them a written offer. Send them a written contract. Send them a DocuSign. Send them some kind of signature form that they could look at, evaluate, look at in front of them, then call them, get them on the phone, and communicate I've had deals that I've almost lost, bro, because of a line item on a contract that was irrelevant. Seriously. Like, they're just worried about that one thing. I had a deal one time in South Jersey, and I sent the guy the contract. He went cold. Right, and it was a deal. I made money on this deal.
Let me tell you,
yeah. He just went cold, and I called him back. No answer. Finally, I got him on the phone. I'm like, man, what's the issue? Like, I sent you the contract. Like, what's the problem? He's like, well, my wife has a problem with this thing on there. I'm like, man, you could have just told me. Like, we could communicate and hash that out. I said, where are you right now? He said, I'm here. I said, I'll meet you over there. I went over there. I said, this is just all this means is this. He was like, oh, okay. I'm like, what else holds you back? He's like, nothing. Okay, that's fine.
But that's second up question. Like, you need to clarify
what other problems do you have? What's the holdup? What is holding you back from making this deal?
Because you have to resolve anything that's holding up the deal.
The objections and the concerns.
There you go.
Figure out, once you send them a contract, they're always going to have objections.
Yep.
They're always going to have concerns. Figure out what those objections are, what those concerns are. That way you can close out the deal.
Yep.
You got to massage the line items through the process. Yeah. All right.
That's so true, man.
What's next?
So you submit your offer. They sign that contract. You're doing a money dance, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
I know the feeling.
Don't start dancing just yet,
bro. That property's not sold yet.
Yeah. You got to sell the deal to make money. You have not closed yet. Don't start dancing. Half the work is complete.
There you go.
The other half of the work is now, I would say 2/3 of the work is now started. 1/3 of the work is getting the deal. 2/3 of the work is selling the deal and figuring out what it is that you have. What is the equitable stake that you have in this contract that you can market for sale? Right. That's what you have.
I actually messed up the order real quick. So step 6 was submit the offer, but just in case, step 7, they don't accept it. You're like, hey, you sound like a great person. The number won't work out.
Yeah.
70% of your deals come from the follow-up.
Yeah.
So every week, every other week, just touch base, because things change, man. Like, the economy changes. They might lose a job, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So you're not settling for no.
Right. Don't settle, bro. Exactly.
You're not settling for no. So if you submit an offer and they're like, nah, that's not going to work. That number is not going to work. Your follow-up to that should be, well, what does work? What will work for you? Well, I'm not ready to sell right now. I'll call you back later. Okay. Is there a number that you think that would have changed that conversation? Is there an offer that you think that you were expecting that maybe would have changed this conversation?
Right.
No. Right now I want to hold until, give me about a month. 45. Okay. Come back to them in a month.
Right. And for the men out there, bro, it's kind of like courting a woman. Like, if she says no right now, don't be banging on her door, hitting the DMs like nonstop. Like, you coming off super desperate.
Yeah.
So let her breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Let her breathe.
Text them in about a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
See what's up.
You know what I mean? Depending on how it kind of ended. So the
Yeah.
follow-ups, man, you get a lot of your deals from the follow-ups. That's step number 7. Step number 8 is when you do put under contract. He agrees, like, you know what, I need to sell this house. Where do I sign? Boom.
Yeah.
Signs off. Like you said, now the work really just began because you got to sell that product. Want to speak on step 9? They're submitting to the title company.
Yo, title companies, bro. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen. Here, look at me. I'm talking to you right now. I'm speaking to you right now. Title companies can destroy a deal. I repeat, for all the title company friends that I have that are watching this right now, I respect and I love you. The ones that we work with. There are ones that I don't respect and I don't love. Shout out to them as well. Title companies can make a deal or break a deal. This is a fact. It's a known thing. And it's very important that you understand what kind of title company you're working with. If you're dealing with a title company that's not comfortable with wholesalers, they work for you, man. Stop the conversation. Go find one that is. Don't be trying to force them to do a deal that they're not comfortable doing. Some title companies don't do sub 2. Some title companies don't want to do assignments. Some title companies don't understand what an ABBC is. They don't want to do it. They don't do this. They do like regular sales.
Yep.
They can do regular purchases, retail purchases only.
Refinance.
They do a ton of them. There are some title processors that don't know what's going on, but the title manager may be a stud. Understand what is the level of experience of the title person that you're dealing with. Shout out to the stud title managers, the VPs, okay, of title that we work with. We work with some absolute juggernauts, stars, and I love them for it. And I could give the credit to them and also not give the credit to those that don't deserve it. It don't have to be one or the other.
Because that's the reality, bro.
That's a reality, bro.
My first wholesale deal, I'll never forget. I had the seller in the contract, buyer in the contract. Cool. I submitted the paperwork, and they told me they were wholesale friendly. Like, oh, perfect. I'm going to make my money. Bro, they sent a contract to have the seller and buyer sign off that Kareem is about to make $11K on this deal.
Bro.
Dog.
Bro.
They could be like, get out of here. Because mind you, the whole time I'm faking the funk to the seller. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna buy this property from you. I didn't even tell them to go wholesale.
A title company will fuck up a deal faster than you can imagine. Faster. They'll send the wrong contract to the wrong person. You'll have them fucked up. It'll cost you tens of thousands of dollars. And you know what they'll say to you? I'm sorry.
Does sorry pay bills?
I'm sorry. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that sorry, bro? Like, what am I supposed to do? You just crushed my deal, man. Yeah. So you got to be cognizant.
You do.
Yeah. If you're not dealing with, like, we're very selective on who we deal with, bro.
Yes.
Very.
So real quick, too, like, if you're a brand new wholesaler, don't feel like you had to prove yourself to a title company. A good title company, like, okay, great. They want to earn your business.
Find the right one.
Find the right one and ask them questions. Like, hey, what's the process look like for you? Here's a few questions to ask them. Unless you want to
go ahead,
you look like you're about to cook right now.
No. You hit them because you struck a chord with this one. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Here's a few simple questions.
Yeah.
First and foremost, do you work with wholesale deals? It's a yes or no answer, straightforward. Secondly, do you do blind seller HUDs? Oof. Very important question.
Cook.
Blind seller HUDs. What does that mean? So when you wholesale the deal, you've been telling the seller, "Hey, I'm buying this house." Meanwhile, you're wholesaling it on the back end. You're not telling the seller that. You don't want to have your seller see you just made $5K on that deal or $10K on that deal. They were like, yo, some title companies allow it. Like, yo, what's this $10K right here? Now you have an argument at the title or at the closing day.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bad joint.
That's a very bad joint.
That's a bad joint.
That Johnski negative. That's no good.
No good.
Unauthorized activity.
Yeah.
Unauthorized activity. Beep, you know the beep, 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 unauthorized activity. They're crushing your deals, guys. They're crushing your deals. Be smart. Don't put yourself in a position where you need to explain things at a closing. If you're sitting there explaining deals at a closing, you know what the closing is for?
It's like defusing a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. Chill. This is about to be taken
we're
out.
We're talking about Call of Duty video games in this case.
Bro, Your closing is not for questions. Your closing is a formality. Are you listening? Is everybody listening to this? Please listen to me. When you're sitting there at the closing table, this is a formality. All the questions should have been resolved. They're ready to sign. They're ready to close. Don't create new questions. Don't generate new problems at closing. You know what that new question could lead to? A dead deal. A problem. A legal issue.
What if the seller just stops responding? It's like, oh, I don't like that. No, I'm good.
Yo, man.
They'll walk away at the deal, bro.
They could walk away at the deal and you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So you got to be cognizant on how you structure that deal at closing and who the title company you use is and what kind of communication has to happen there. You know, very, very important that everybody understands that. Who you deal with matters in life. Mm-hmm. If you deal with the wrong person, there's a price to pay for it.
Yep.
All right? So shout out to all the title companies that we work with. They're absolute professionals. They know what they're doing. We love them for it. Let's keep going.
Man. So cool. You got the right title company. You're getting things closed out. What are we looking at? Oh, that's right. So you select your title company, getting that process started. But again, you got to find the dispo. We're kind of leading into the next one, but you got to find your buyers, bro.
Yeah.
It's one thing to lock up a deal, but finding a buyer to
you can lock up a deal, it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not marketing the deal correctly.
Yep.
You're not putting it in front of the right buyer pool. You're not experienced to deal with investors. You don't know how to speak their language. Investors are different people. You got to know how to talk to them. You sitting there and you're not communicating well with an investor, you're not going to sell your deal. It's not the price that sells the deal, bro. Sometimes I have fire damage properties that people have turned down, and there's nothing structurally wrong with the property.
Yeah.
But every investor's walked through there and they're like, oh, it's fire damage. It's got to be trash.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to knock it down. I've had contractors walk the property, tell me it's got to be a knockdown. I'm like, why is it a knockdown? What makes it a knockdown? Oh, it's a fire. Structurally sound. I've had an engineer through it show me that it's structurally sound. You're a contractor. Your job is not to tell me whether or not to knock down the property.
Yeah.
Your job is to, rehab the property. So by understanding who your end customer is for that deal, you know who to market to and who not to market to.
You know what's funny? I have a story on that. My first deal, right? I locked up under the contract. I was like, oh, the hard work's done. I'll never forget. I was getting a bunch of emails from Facebook. So active investors off of Facebook. I would just get through email. I never forget, bro. It's like a Tuesday morning, and I'm just one email at a time, just banging out, just shooting out the details, shooting it. Like, all right, cool. I just email 50 buyers. This thing's about to be sold tonight, bro. Not one of them responded.
Yeah,
it takes work to sell your deal.
It definitely takes work.
You don't just send it out there and someone just, oh, here's the money.
Fam, the big operations, right? They have a dispo process for a reason, right?
Yep.
Fam, these are large operations. They're a large scale operation. They have an acquisitions team and a dispositions team for a reason. The people that sell the deal sometimes are not the same people. A lot of times are not the same people that acquire the deal. Those are two different groups of people. So by understanding disposition correctly, understanding how to sell your deal, that makes you a skilled investor, wholesaler. So you got to understand who the client is. You got to understand how to repack that thing to sell it, whether it's a slow flip or a wholesale. If you guys don't know what slow flip is and you're watching this, there's going to be a link at the end of this video. Click on the link for the slow flip video. If you want to learn how to flip the property that you've just picked up, there's going to be a link after this video to click on that. So it walks you through the flipping process. All right. I just want to take a minute and say that to you guys. But understanding what your exit is going to be on that deal, that really puts you in a position of power to really sell this deal.
It all comes down to, again, buy low, sell high, bro. You have to get it for a discount.
You got to buy it right.
It has to be a discount.
Yeah.
A good deal is always going to sell, bro.
Yeah.
Bad deal won't. The market's going to respond to you.
So let's say on the deal, you find a buyer. The buyer signs the assignment contract. I shouldn't say assignment contract. I should say they sign the contract because there's different ways to contractually obligate a seller to pay for that property. The buyer to pay, excuse me.
Right.
On that property. Sometimes it's assignment. Sometimes it's a different kind of agreement.
Double close.
Yeah, whatever it is. Right? So let's say you find that person. What's the next step?
make sure everything goes smooth. So make sure the earnest money deposit from that buyer is placed.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like a minimum of like $3,000.
Yeah.
What that is, it's like, say the buyer's buying it for 50, he put down $3K. That $3K is being applied to closing day, so he owes $47K plus closing costs.
Why is an earnest money deposit relevant or important?
Because it's non-refundable, so he ties up money in the deal. He or she has skin. Yeah, he or she has skin in the game now.
Yeah.
So
you're
he walks for any reason, he forfeits that $3K. He or she forfeits.
So you're obligating the buyer, the investor, to put in a deposit that holds them accountable for that deal. Because now you're taking that deal off the market and you could have sold it to somebody else. Mm-hmm. And you have a contractual obligation with the original sellers to close on this deal. What happens if they don't close?
Time is money, bro.
What happens if they don't come to the table and close on this deal? You're going to lose the deal. You could be taken to court.
You have an uncomfortable conversation with that seller because he doesn't know what you're doing on the back end.
Oh, yeah.
You told him, hey, I'm going to close by 30 days from now.
You've agreed to buy the property on the seller side. You've made a contract. There's a legal obligation to perform. They can force you to perform on that property.
Right.
If it's not structured in a certain way, they can force you to perform on that property legally. So you 100% want to make sure that the person that's buying it on the BC side, on your dispo side, is a serious buyer. And by holding a deposit, you're affirming that they're a serious buyer. You take that deposit, you put it with title, that doesn't come to you, and if they don't perform, you're able to come after that deposit.
Right. Yeah, the title company is a third-party escrow account. So they have no biases on either parties. Their job is just to process the file and hold the money and disperse it accordingly.
Yes. So what's next after that?
So the money's down.
Yeah.
You got to be in touch. Make sure keep that seller engaged, right? So say you just locked up a buyer pretty early on.
Yeah.
Every week, just have a VA or yourself just touch base like, hey, title's still going along. Everything's smooth. We're still on track for a closing date by XYZ.
So
keep them informed.
Yeah.
Because they might mess around like, oh, I thought the deal was over with and he sold it to somebody else.
So a red flag for me on the dispo side would be how they're funding the deal. Whether they're a cash buyer
talk about it, man.
Or a hard money buyer. Like, here's the next, when I get a deal sold, I want to know how you're paying for it. Like, you want the deal. Okay, great. How are you paying for this? Are you a cash buyer? Are you hard money? Show me a proof of funds. Show me something from that hard money bank. And honestly, that's still a loose situation.
Yeah. So
if they're hard money, I typically ask for a higher deposit, from them. And then I also ask for a time frame. And I say, look, how many times have you dealt with this hard money lender? And what's your time frame for closing? If they say 3 to 4 weeks, something's not right. Hard money doesn't take 3 or 4 weeks to get funded. It's usually a 1 to 2 week process. You know what I mean? You should be able to close on that within 2 weeks. If they're a cash buyer and they tell me I need 30 days, red flag. Why you need 30 days for? You can run title in as little as 3 days. If you have a clean title, we're ready to close.
Yep.
So why you need all that?
Big difference of type of buyers, man. A legit cash buyer could close that week for real.
You need to know whether or not you have a real buyer or you have somebody that's trying to daisy chain the deal. Mm-hmm. You have another wholesaler that thinks you're too low on your ask and they want to get it on the contract to sell to somebody else. And that would be fine as long as they're going to perform and put a deposit down.
Yeah. That deposit mitigates that.
Yeah. So super important that you know how your buyer is paying for that deal. Super important that you know where their funding is coming from, where the money is coming from, and how you're going to close and how quick they can close. So I'll just ask them. I say, how quick can you close? If they start selling like 3 to 4 weeks, I don't know about that. If they start saying 1 to 2 weeks, now we're talking.
But that's cool though. 3 to 4 weeks is fine. But if you're using your lender, sometimes I'll just tap on the more of a price then, because you're using institutional money at that point.
It is cool, but it's a more risky situation.
It is.
You got that seller on the hook for 3 to 4 weeks. What happens if they don't close?
Right.
So I typically want to know within a week or two whether I have a deal or I have to remarket.
Right.
So I want to push them to close before my deadline.
Yeah, that's true. Because that bank's involved, man. Sometimes they just try to get extensions. I've had a bank push a deal back for 7 months, bro. Like, no exaggeration, dude.
Yeah.
It still didn't close.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah. There's a situation there.
Yep.
So what's after that? Let's say you get them under contract, you agree on time frame, you agree on EMD. What's next?
Make sure all parties show up at closing, man. Yeah. Seller signs off the deed of transfer.
Yeah.
Buyer signs off on that. Yeah. Make sure that buyer wires their money. but stay on top of the title company to provide a HUD-1.
When should the buyer wire their money?
As soon as a HUD-1 is provided.
So
that's based off a title company.
So typically we ask for 24, 48 hours prior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a very good way to just know where the deal is in the process. By getting the money at title 24 hours ahead, we know the money's there. We know the seller is serious. The buyer is serious.
Yeah.
So we know that's not going to be a problem. So by knowing that the money's sitting at escrow, we have a deal at this point.
Yeah, the eagle has landed.
Yes, the eagle has landed. The money is there. The bag has arrived.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's your job to make sure that bag gets dispersed correctly.
Oh yeah.
That you're getting your funds out of that exit.
So the title company will provide something called a HUD-1 or an ALTA, A-L-T-A. It's pretty much like a receipt of who's getting paid what. So the seller gets $20K purchase price that you agreed on the A to B side.
Yes.
You sold it for $50, right? So the buyer's he's wiring $50K plus closing costs. He already put like a $3K deposit.
Yeah.
You're making $30K in the deal. You need to make sure you're LLC because again, if it's just your name like John Smith, a title company might not even process that file. So make sure you have an LLC you're working with.
Yeah.
Or some sort of entity. Make sure that entity on paper is getting paid $30K, that difference, and that they have your bank information to send that money there. It's very important stuff.
The HUD is a pre-requirement. Again, when you're arriving at title or you're signing virtually, this is a formality. This should not be the question part of the deal. The signature is a formality. Closing is a formality. Your deal should be 99% cooked at that point. You know what I'm saying? You're there to pick up your slice of the cake. That's what closing is. You're not there to recook the cake. You're not there to find new ingredients. You're not there to find out that there's no eggs, there's no milk, there's missing ingredients. That should have happened before that.
Right. You're
there to get your slice of the cake, make sure everybody got their slice, and you're ready to get out of there and move on and rinse and repeat.
Right. Oh, something else to add to it, man. Early on in the process, you have your buyer and your seller, submit it to title. Try to get a title commitment on that property. Make sure that thing is free and clear, that there's no liens on like the last week of closing that just showed up and kills the deal, man. I'm speaking from experience, bro. It hurts.
And how would you get that title commitment? Speak on what communication you should have as a wholesaler, as an investor with title.
You have to stay involved with title. So just send out emails every other day. Hey, how's title looking? Hey, do we have a title commitment ready for this?
What is a title commitment? Can you explain?
It's pretty much that title company, would you say insuring that property, saying, hey, this is what we found, and this is what we're willing to insure on this property for the end buyer, essentially.
So when you're buying a title insurance policy, you're buying insurance from the title company that states that they are insuring that policy against any encumbrances, any liens, any encroachments on that title.
Yep.
That's what you're buying. So when you go through title and you run title and you get that policy, congratulations. You have a marketable title.
Yep.
And it's insured, hopefully.
Yep.
If everything went right and there's no exemptions on that list. Because you also need to look at the exemptions on that list. Sometimes they exempt certain things. Yeah. You need to be knowledgeable of what those exempt. They'll issue a policy but exempt a bunch of things, and you need to understand that.
Have you ever seen that where they even don't even tell you that?
Yes. Sometimes they exempt them quickly, and they don't mention what they need to mention, and you have to be knowledgeable enough to ask why are these exemptions here?
Right.
Because you're buying a policy contingent upon these exemptions. For all intents and purposes, let's stick with the title insurance. Once you have title, it's insured. You have a marketable title. You have a marketable property. You have a clean title on a property that you can turn around and resell. That's why your job as an investor is to communicate with title. You don't have a title processor on your side, so you got to be the title processor. Yep. Here's the lone wolf mentality. If you're going to be a lone wolf, you got to wear the dispo hat, acquisitions hat, contract writing hat, title processing hat,
underwriting hat,
acquisitions hat. What other hats?
Acquisitions twice. Yeah.
How many? Yeah. Okay.
Wear all the hats, bro.
You got to wear all the hats.
But they're very important because you can't just set it and forget it. Like, hey, title, here you go.
You can be a lone wolf.
Yep.
You can do this. There's people doing it successfully.
Yep.
But you have to do all of these things correctly.
Yep.
Those are all jobs that need to be done. So in my organization, I've set this up to whereas I don't have to do all those things. I focus on what I'm good at.
There you go.
And that's a formula that works for me. It may not work for everybody. That works for me on my side. So once you have that deal, once you got your slice of the cake, once you closed out the deal, once you're out walking out the title, looking at that check in the car and telling yourself, maybe you take a picture, you send it to your wife, you send it to your mom and dad, you send it to your partner, you send it to your friend, and you tell yourself, damn, this is life-changing, man. This money right here is crazy. This would have taken me months, years to make this money, save this money. Now I have this in my hand. Once you settle on that, you sit in your car. Sometimes people get happy. People get depressed. They get sad because they think about all the time that they wasted doing the things that they were not supposed to do. You understand? But once you have that check, should be a happy moment for you. You're looking, you're sitting, and you realize my life will be different after this. How different depends on me. How different depends on me. How much work I do, how much effort I put in, how much I grow this business, how much I can do for me and mine. But that's an incredibly important thing. How many different things can you say that about? If you open up a business, sometimes that doesn't depend on you. You know what I'm saying? COVID could come out and they could shut your restaurant down. It don't matter how hard you work. You don't have the occupancy to run your restaurant. A lot of businesses don't depend on you. They depend on a team of people, and that team of people may not want to work as hard as you. So you're relying on them. You're not relying on how much effort you want to put in. If it was just you, your effort, maybe it would be you go a lot further. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This is 100% a business, a game that can change your life. Please understand. We're not over here making videos to change our life. I got news for you guys. We're doing okay. If you haven't noticed. You understand what I'm saying? We're doing okay. God is good. This is not for us. This is for you. We're providing this value for you. We're providing this game for you. But at the end of the day, you have to act on it. At the end of the day, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. And you have to figure out the hard problems. There ain't no circumventing that. There's no easy answer for that part. But if you do that, there's no doubt in my mind that this is a life-changing scenario for people. That's why, like when people come into this business and I meet them and they say, how do you think I'm going to do it? I tell them, it depends on you. This could change your life or you could waste your time. I've seen people walk away from deals, literally walk away from deals within my own organization. Okay? Walk away from multiple deals, and I'll come in, I'll close those deals right after they left. And I'll send them the check after. Hear me now. Do you understand that? I'm different, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm different. I'll send them the check right after. That way they know what they walked away from. They didn't walk away from me. That doesn't happen, bro. I'm not worried about who walks away from me. I know God got me. The real ones don't walk away from me. They walk away from themselves. They don't quit on me. They quit on themselves. I'll send them the check as a confirmation. I won't block them on social media as a confirmation to let them know you fucked up. Congratulations. You fucked up. Ladies and gentlemen, you fucked up. So don't quit on yourself. Don't ever. You don't need to do that. As long as you don't quit on yourself, people don't quit on you. As long as you put in the work and the effort, people don't quit on you. The right people are going to see that you're putting in the time and the effort, that you're working hard, that you're putting in the time, that you're believing in yourself, that you see the evidence in front of you. Sometimes you don't even need to see the evidence in front of you. You just know that it's possible. You sit there and quit on yourself. You ain't quitting on nobody. There's no problem. You're quitting on yourself. You're making an admission to yourself that I can't do this. That's not it, man.
It's all in your head.
That's not it, brother. What a sad existence.
Mm-hmm.
How could you live a life where you're quitting on yourself? You don't believe in you? Who's supposed to believe in you? Phil, how many times have you told me, yo, the thing that I respect about you the most is how much confidence you have in your own abilities? Why do I have confidence in my ability? Why? Who the fuck is going to have confidence in you if you don't have confidence in yourself? If you don't believe in you, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your own abilities, how are you going to sell a team on why they're moving in the right direction? Who's going to sit there and invest their time, their effort in what you're doing if you don't have confidence in yourself? Now, to the people with small egos, you know what I'm saying? Not small ego. To the people with, you know, they got their feelings mixed up in the wrong things. They misunderstand confidence for what? Arrogance. It's not arrogant to believe in yourself. That's not arrogance. Confidence to me is knowing what you're capable of based on experience. Arrogance is putting on a facade. Is moving through life without empirical evidence of what you've done. I differentiate the two. If you don't have empirical evidence, if you don't have primary source material on whether or not you've done things, I would consider that arrogance, because you should check the background, do your research. Confidence is knowing what you can achieve. And I think if you don't have confidence in yourself, at least to put in the work, you failed you. You ain't failing me. You failed you and yours. So I think this is super important that we understand that this is a recipe to cook. It's a fucking recipe to cook. God damn it. This is a recipe to cook. If you would have got this 20 years ago, if God would have brought me this 20 years ago, God knows where I'd be. God knows where I'd be. He brought it to me this late in life for whatever reason. But he brought it to me, and I'm grateful. But this is a recipe to cook. And if you don't know how to use a recipe to cook, get the fuck out the kitchen. That's it. And this recipe is how we cook. You're welcome. We're giving it to you for free, and we're not expecting anything from you. You're welcome. We're not asking you to subscribe. We're not asking you to pay us a fee, but we are asking you to subscribe. We are asking you to comment and to like and to support us that way. If not, you can go to hell as well. Yo, I'm wild out. Y'all can go to hell as well. Fuck that. Why are we over here acting like it's not the real?
No cap, bro.
Yeah, seriously.
No fucking cap.
Bro, you know the amount of game this is? Guys, have you any idea what this is? This life-changing shit. Don't act like it's basic. It's not. Don't act like you're doing us a favor by watching this video. You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. This is real, bro. This is life-changing shit. You watch all of our videos, it is what? A fucking masterclass on life. Congratulations. You only bettered yourself. Listen, view counts up, view counts down. Guess what?
We still doing this
We
shit.
fucking cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Flame broiled. Okay, barbecue. The whole neighborhood is there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't misunderstand it. Don't get it fucked up. We're not out here for that. View counts up, view counts down, we cooking. You understand what I'm saying? But if you respect what we're doing, respect back to you. Okay, if you love what we're doing, show us. Don't tell me you support me when you see me. You better fucking leave a comment and share this shit. I don't want to hear that shit.
Goddamn.
I don't want to hear that shit. You saw me in the street. Yo, Sheik, I respect what you're doing. Fuck out of here. Did you share it? Don't tell me that shit. I don't want to talk about that.
That fugazi shit, bro.
Nah, that's not it. Share it. Comment. Show me that you support what we're doing. Don't tell me that you support what we're doing.
Another way you can show it, bro, is change your life with it. Take the knowledge and apply action behind it.
Absolutely. Forget about the comment. Forget about the share. Forget about the like. You really respect what we're doing? Put the time and the effort in. Bring a deal. Reach out to Kareem. Reach out to Phil. Reach out to me. Contact us on DM and say, yo, listen, I put this game I put effort on it. I put respect on this game. I put the effort on this game. And ever since I did that, I changed my fucking life. You do that, keep your comment and your share. I'm good with that. I'm good with that, ladies and gentlemen. If you can do that and you could bring a deal, respect. The Sheik approves. If you're sitting here watching these videos and you just entertain, okay. What have you done? Nothing. I'll keep entertaining you, but that ain't nothing. You need to take action. I would rather somebody contacted me on social and say, yo, listen, I applied this game. It changed my life. Then subscribe to a channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, congratulations.
Yep.
That's what it was supposed to do. And we gave it out for free. We didn't ask you for anything. All we asked you for was support or action on your life. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important that we just put it out there and we keep it a buck. We don't like, you know what I'm saying? We're not in the business of having to mask our intent. My intent is clear, man. I get money. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to pretend. You don't have to like me. I don't care. You got to like yourself. It ain't about me. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Do something.
Yep.
Do something with your time. Right or wrong. Anything you want to add to that, Astro?
I'm letting it breathe, bro.
You letting it breathe?
I'm letting that breathe. Some real talk, dog.
Bro, I got to get it off my chest.
That's real shit, though.
I got to get it off. This shit is therapy for me.
That's a fact.
I love this shit.
That's a fact.
I got to get it off. You can't be... I see people sometimes, they're like, yeah, I love what you're doing. I'm like, okay. You know, thank you for watching.
Oh, man.
You love what I'm doing? Okay. What have you done with it? Nothing?
Yeah.
Stop watching, bro. Go watch basketball. You know what I mean? Go do something. If you ain't doing nothing with it.
Like, I think the Eagles are wrong. Go watch that.
Seriously. You got to do something with this. Do something,
This
bro.
shit changed your life, bro. I've upgraded my life.
Bro, this shit is so much value. Is if you if you hear frustration in my voice, it's because, man, I wish God would have brought this to me 20 years ago. 25, bro, I was in the bookstore reading books, looking for guidance, looking for an answer to fix my problem. Could you imagine somebody coming into my life via a YouTube channel and giving me the fucking formula, giving me the recipe? I was looking to cook, man. I was looking to cook any possible way. I was desperate. I needed it. Imagine somebody bringing you a recipe. You talking about, I can't even like the video. That's crazy.
This is a recipe from somebody that's actually cooking, bro. Check out his Instagram. Look at the house he just listed for market, dog. Listen, my man built that shit from the ground up.
Listen.
You out here really doing it, bro.
Do your research. Okay? I don't need to do your research. If you need to know who I am, do your research. Okay? If you need to know why the Sheik is here, do your research. Do your research. I would implore you to investigate. Do your research. You know who I am. If you don't know who I am, after that, you ain't never going to know who I am. And my people know who I am. So respect to that as well. All my people know who I am because it's more than just flipping some houses. It's more than just selling some properties, more than just selling some paper. That ain't it. There's more to the story.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Absolutely. So where we capping this off?
Got one more.
Oh, but bonus round. What's the bonus round? Rinse and repeat. Take action.
Don't make the mistake like, hey, I got my first deal under contract, so I'm gonna stop marketing to other sellers. That deal could fall through. You got it too high. I'm speaking from experience, bro. Because you constantly resetting. Like 30 days went by and nothing happened, so now you got to remarket again. So keep that pipeline full as you're wholesaling these deals. Even if you're brand new, bro, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's okay. Real change comes from when you are uncomfortable. That's the truth.
Take action. You see the check at the end of the closing. The check is not a check. The check is to check your ass. Do you understand that? Check your ass. That's a life-changing situation. You should check yourself when you see that. Look at that check and check your life. Check everything you did before that check and after. And make a decision to yourself. If you don't know to rinse and repeat, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, bro.
You don't got to tell. Yo, I caught that first check.
That's a fact.
Yo, I was on, boy. Forget that. I was on. It was on like Donkey Kong. It was on. I was like, yo, is this for real right now? Like, we're really doing this. Okay, we're going to hit the ground running. I had to stop everything and really recalibrate. And I spoke to Phil about it. I spoke to people about it. I said, man, this is nuts. You got a formula to change your life, maybe change your kid's life,
Right.
change your wife's life, change everybody around you.
But before you change all that, you gotta change this, bro. It's all in your head.
Absolutely.
The mentality, bro. You gotta work on this first. We weren't born out the womb knowing how to fucking transact on real estate deals.
Absolutely.
I was not, and understand you can earn 10K much easier and quicker than you could save 10K. Bro, I was a good student all my life. I followed the book. I was by the book all the time. Turns out that shit was a scam, bro. Fuck all that. I'm nothing against being a doctor, nothing like that, bro. I'm telling you, just live life on your own terms. Build a skill. This is really building the skill that will take you a far journey.
Be great at something. Be great at something. And being able to communicate well is an incredible talent in this new digital world. There's people becoming millionaires off of YouTube videos or off of becoming a personality, an influencer. We're living in a different world.
Yeah.
A lot of people are stuck in their mindset, an old school mindset. They don't know, like, this new world requires a new set of talents. And you have to apply yourself in a different way.
I remember I spoke to a CPA that was filing taxes for my like W-2s for a while, right? I'm not gonna put his name out. And I remember I was like, hey, I'm transacting on real estate now. I'm wholesaling. I was like, I live in this state, but I'm wholesaling properties in this state. And I never forget. He's like, why would you do that? Like, bro, I'm like, all right, I got to change CPAs now.
You know what you do next? You hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Once you get that answer, why would you do that? Yo, I got the wrong number.
Yo.
Is this Domino's? Click. My bad. I thought I was calling a CPA. Click. Come on now.
Yeah. Think outside the box, bro.
Listen. All CPAs not created equal. All title companies not created equal. All lawyers not created equal. You know what I'm saying? You got to know who you got on the phone. If you get somebody on the phone, they're like, why would you do that? And they see your bank statements and they're asking you why. That's not the question I would ask as a CPA.
Yeah.
I would ask, how can I do this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a CPA, I'd say, why the fuck did I do this? You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it a buck.
Right.
That's not it. You know,
Yeah.
Some people are so programmed, they can't even see past that.
Yeah.
Like, you could show them a check and they could be like, yeah, I'm clocking in tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what? What are you talking about?
That's why it's important to deprogram that shit that doesn't serve you, bro. This serves you. Tune into these type of things. Watch these episodes.
Not everybody is capable of red pill mentality. Some people need the blue pill.
Matrix reference.
Some people, they've been eating the blue pill so long, they can't imagine a life without the blue pill.
Right.
Imagine that. Imagine going through life so programmed, you can't imagine a life unprogrammed.
Right.
That shit is crazy.
And it takes time, bro. We were making 6-figure off of passive income before I decided to leave my job.
Yeah.
So I had my own mental things of unprogramming. Like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. It's like, oh, maybe I do as a crutch. It's all BS, bro. Because I fired my job a month and a half ago, and my man asked the question, like, did you feel like you lost something? Like, no, I've only gained, bro. I'm full-time real estate. I'm all in.
It's
different.
It was very important. Like, throughout your growth process, it was very important to me that you made your decisions on your terms.
Yeah, respect.
You understand what I'm saying? What I didn't want to do is put an unnecessary amount of pressure on you as a brother to do something that you were not ready for, and then turn around and feel like, man, I made the wrong decision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what family does.
Very wise.
So in that situation, I basically laid it out and I said, look, bro, you're out here doing your thing. Like, all you need to do is more of that.
Right.
And you'll be all right. You know what I mean? And I think you knew that,
Yeah.
like, a few months into it.
Yep.
Like, we started cooking, like, immediately. So I think the issue for you was you were so conditioned to have that stability.
Yeah.
And that was important to you.
Yeah.
You know, you had a girl at home, you had situated responsibilities and stuff like that. So that was important to you. So getting that off your mental on that was a big step for you.
Yeah.
And plus, you're an engineer mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're an analytical person, so you want to understand all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, and I respect that. So I just kind of let you do you. And eventually, you know, I knew that you come to the conclusion that I did.
For sure.
Week 1. You know what I mean? Like,
I appreciate you believing in me too, bro.
Bro, God gives different people different talents. One of my talents is seeing people for what they are. Early, not after the fact, not after the success, before. It don't take a genius to know what somebody is after. You don't get to come to the party after and then say, yeah, I knew that. No, don't work like that. It don't work like that. You're late. The music already started. We opened the gifts already. You understand what I'm saying? We ate the cake already. We already partied. It's over. You're late. You should have seen that before. I would have respected you for it. I would have loved you for it. You know, that's the way you need to do it. You can't come to the party late talking about where's my slice of cake. That shit's crazy. Am I right or am I wrong?
Absolutely.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. We hunt together, we eat together.
Yeah.
You can't come out here after we already hunted, cleaned it out, cooked it. It's on the plate talking about where's my plate. What you mean, where's your plate? Nah, that doesn't work that way. Your plate is non-existent. That's what your plate is. Your plate is that plate right there, empty. This ain't work. It don't work like that.
That shit divided by zero, undefined.
Yeah, you get half of zero. You get 10% of zero. How's that? Like, what are we talking about, man? We can't know. That's not the way. That's not the way, guys. That's not the way. We got to be realistic in the way that we're moving. Excuse me. I know that we're living in a new world, delusional world. You know, fake butt meat, all of that. I don't really care. All right? I don't really care. I'm telling you the truth. All right? And the truth of the matter is, you can't come to the party late talking about where's my plate. Doesn't work like that. A plate that you had no business cooking, that you had no part in cooking. You can ask for a piece of your plate if you're part of the process. I understand that part. That's completely logical. But if you don't see somebody for what they are and then talk about, yes, I knew you were gonna be this. I knew you were gonna. No, you did not. Shut the fuck up. No, you did not. No, you did not. Stop. You didn't see shit. What you saw is after the fact. You saw a car, you saw some money, and now you think you want to ride the coattails on that shit. No, don't work like that. Sorry. I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong? No, I didn't say nothing wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would you want to live off of someone else's glory anyways?
Be a team player, or you're not part of the team. Don't come after the fact. I like seeing people for what they are before. I like giving people the respect before. I don't need to see the evidence. I see what you are empirically. I see it. And I give you the time. I give you the effort. I work with you. You don't got to show me shit.
That's fire, man.
I don't need to see it. I see you.
That's good character right there.
I don't want to see. Yeah, I don't subscribe to that other shit. The other shit don't feel real to me. It feels fake.
Mm-hmm.
What I look like waiting until somebody catches a vibe for me to be like, yeah, let's ride the wave. Get the fuck out of here. Where were you when there was no wave? That's not how it works. Nah, you could catch it on Instagram. You ain't catching no vibe.
Right.
Yeah. You catch it on WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble.
Yep.
Where we at, Phil? Tell them where they can catch it. Where can they watch it?
Everywhere.
TikTok, X, Rumble, YouTube.
The revolution will be televised. Everywhere. Everywhere. Wherever content is made, we will be. That's where you can catch it. Now, if you come to the table and we're working together and there's humility involved, then you will reciprocate. We will reciprocate that humility. Why not? We don't have to move that way.
There's enough money out there, bro. Enough real estate, enough business out there for everyone.
Absolutely. God is the greatest. And he provides us with unlimited amount of blessing. There's no reason to limit it. You know what I'm saying? But, minus the sucker shit.
100%, bro.
For real. So.
And I want to clear up a couple more things, man, because, I get this quite often. It's like, I can't do this with a 9-to-5. I've been wholesaling, building up a portfolio with a 9-to-5 the whole time. I was blessed to be able to work from home, but what you do in that when you clock out, bro, is very important. Like, we hear it all the time. It might sound cliche, but you have to change your own life. One thing I think of, because I love cars, bro. I know what I want in my life. Like, no one's going to wake up like, I need to buy Karima a Ferrari. They might want good for me, but I have to make it happen for myself, bro. And I'm going to work with my team, be a great partner, and we all going to just win together. You got to be hungry for it. You don't do a few deals like, all right, cool, I can coast now. I made enough money. Like, don't get complacent.
I want to cap off by saying, if I upset you, good. Good, that was my intent. If you feel offended, phenomenal. Good. I made you feel something. phenomenal. Let me know about it. If you took value from this, phenomenal. If you didn't take value from it, phenomenal. If your intent was to come here to feel something, good. You got your fix. Keep feeling. If your intent was here to do something with your life that's different than what you've been doing, congratulations. You're in the right place. If you needed that conversation to kick you out of that couch, out of that bed, for you to move into the next stage of your life, you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? What we ask in return is that you subscribe, you like what we're doing, you share, or as my brother told you, you take action.
And real quick, what you do when you're not motivated, it's very telling.
Yes.
This will motivate you.
Yes.
That's great. But what you do on those Tuesdays when it's fucking raining and the shit's not working, that's how you know if you're going to succeed. Yeah.
For sure. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, bro. Follow us on in all socials. You can find me at KR Direct LLC on Instagram and Facebook. Where can they find you? You
can follow us. You can follow me on Instagram, SINAN_EASMAEL. Okay. That's on IG. You can follow me on Twitter, Muhammad Ismail on Twitter. Yep. You can follow us on YouTube. At
Hustleman Pod. I think that's on Instagram, correct?
Instagram, TikTok. Go ahead. X, Cook. Rumble. Cook. Facebook.
Ka-ching.
Yes. Ka-ching. Yes. Yes. You can follow us on all streaming platforms. Spotify.
Is at Hustleman Pod everywhere. Yeah. Are we on Apple Music?
Apple Music.
Lovely.
We're on everything. We're on.
Yeah.
Wherever you consume content, you'll find us. All right. So if you like what we're doing, let us know. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.